Hello, you're listening to Future Radio 107.8 FM. I'm Russell Turner, and this is Sound of the Suburbs, Future Radio's weekly romp through punk rock and its cousins. I'm going to be with you for another, hour and 54 minutes or so. Coming up on the show today, we've got the usual hot rocks and banging tunes. And I also have a very special guest in the studio. He's not actually yet in the studio. When the next song's playing, I'm going to get him in, but... that is Elliott Stewart. Some of you may have come across him before, who's an old friend of mine, who's moved back to Norwich recently. I brought him on the show a few months ago, at the end of last year. So I'm looking forward to talking to him, shooting the breeze with Elliott. And the glitches continue. That was the Breeders with Nervous Mary from the album All Nerve. Hello, as I said, as I promised, as I threatened, I have in the studio now with me Elliott Stewart. Hello, Elliott.
Hello, yes, I'm here, definitely. I took my jumper off, actually, because I took my coat off early on. Maybe that was distracting the electrical stuff.
It could be, and with static.
Clothes are coming off now.
Oh, there we go.
What do you think that is?
What does that say on your teeth? Oh, it's Hal.
It is Hal.
It's from...
Can I say nipple? I've said it now. It looks like an electronic nipple. I bought this. And I got given this for Christmas. And it does look like someone should be pressing that.
Have people pressed it?
No. I have to go up to people and say, press this.
Well, it's kind of like, because I wear braces a lot. And
do you?
Yeah, look.
Oh, he does? Yes. I thought you meant teeth.
No, I mean, as in suspenders, as the Americans call them, holding up my trousers.
Exactly.
Because I've got snake hips. And I haven't got snake hips, that's all right. I just got no hips.
Which slithering away like that.
Which belts just, they don't cut the mustard when my trousers are concerned.
Lots of euphemisms coming. He's got mustard trousers on in so many ways.
And the reason that I mentioned this, because you were talking about people pressing the nipple on your T-shirt, is the fact that people often come up to me and... flick my braces, twang them.
I'll do that off air, shall I?
No.
Okay.
Not unless you pay me.
Okay. Oh, blimey. It's all go.
It is all go.
Yes.
Anyway, just lovely to see. Have you been?
I've been all right, because I think you and I recently didn't see each other for ages.
And then about 10 years.
And then we did it again with 3 months. We fall out with... was that you making that creaky noise?
Yeah, sorry. That was again, it's live radio.
We fall out with each other for small distances, 10 years, and then 3 months, because we both played the same fictional character. Or, if you know, I've thrown him now.
You have?
I should demonstrate my fictional character for you. I should say fictional. I go, oh, hello, Merry Christmas.
Yes.
That one there.
That fictional
showing
character.
Off my range of voice.
When we say fictional...
No.
We mean real.
Oh, dear. 8 minutes in, I'm being controversial already. Sorry.
You've destroyed the dreams of millions.
There's this wonderful guy with a beard, and he wears red, and he can bring the future... I'm talking about Jeremy Corbyn. I mean Santa. Santa's a lovely guy with a beard. Other people with beards of any political thing are also available. I say that, yeah. So
they are indeed, yeah.
So we played Santa. I was Santa in House of Frasier for ages. Frasier? That's why I got Fraser. Yeah, I was in the House of Sitcom, and Tim. I ended up calling him Evil Tim. Tim Lane. Yes. He was. I can say it now. Here we go. He was the other Santa, or I was the other Santa, depending on our Santability. And so you also played. You were being Father Christmas in a different place, weren't you? I don't know where that was.
I was up at Thursford in North Norfolk, the wonderful Thursford attraction. It's Santa's Christmas Spectacular.
We haven't had a Santa off, because that was my Santa's kind of a bit of a Welsh tint with a bit of Brian Blessed thrown in. It's a bit like, oh, hello, Merry Christmas, Gordon's alive. You can hear a bit of Brian in there, you see.
Whereas mine was just Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, right.
No, it's not. It's
bad
all right.
Santa.
It's all right. No,
Santa.
My Santa was a good Santa. My Santa was a very good Santa.
So this is what the kids are into, talking about festivals, because it's not very seasonal. I work in the seasonal department of the Range now.
Oh, do you really?
Yes, advertising the Range.
What's on season at the moment in the Range?
Summery stuff, they hope. So there's lots of things out there. It's a lovely place. I've only been working there for a week. It could be a horrible place. But so far, it's been quite nice. Yeah. And I've been lifting things and putting things on shelves and labeling. How exciting. It's the opposite of punk. So it's like, it's capitalism, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid, despite whatever we may think, we all have to live under it.
Indeed. So I've been doing that. And seasonally wise, it's been lots of plastic balls and lots of shovels and spade. You can tell I'm just wittering on because Russell is desperately pressing buttons going, it's here. Where is this new wave punk stuff? I've lost it.
I've lost it. It's vanished.
That's why I'm wittering on.
I'll tell you what. We'll go with...
He's been waving at me going, keep going. Most people do the opposite. Please stop talking.
No, I haven't been looking at
this
it.
This is my future radio audition. Like, can you keep talking while the technical things have a bit of a hiccup?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. Well, while I'm here, I think I'll talk about my trainers. They're luminous, but not as luminous.
Right, sorted.
Oh, right, okay.
There we go. You can stop wittering.
Okay.
No, we can. No, I wanted to witter for a little bit longer. No, that's all right.
Exhausted now.
You brought in
I've got a mind hernia.
We brought in a CD with 7 tracks on, and there's some a range of styles on there, including. You'll hear it when I play it later. But first up, we've got a band called MGMT.
Yes, and it stands for something, but I won't tell you what it stands for until the song finishes.
Okay.
So they're called MGMT. So you think it's like a, what's that called? When you put lots of letters together.
Acronym.
Thank you. Bless you. One of those. There's a different word that means acronym, but that's not it. But yes, so they're not an acronym.
Initialism.
It's not initialism. It's not an acronym, but it means something. And it's incredibly disappointing. So I'll tell you what it is.
You'll disappoint us after it.
After the song.
And the track is called?
Oh, I've forgotten.
It's called It's Working.
It's working. How ironic.
And I hope it is now.
Yes, I had a thing in my ear. It wasn't the music. I was listening to MGMT.
Playing It's Working.
It's working. And you're having problems with the technology.
Yeah, we were having problems with technology. It's all sorted, he said.
I'm being careful with my legs because there's lots of
with his fingers
appropriately dangly cables here. They're all health and safety and risk assessed and everything.
Of course they are.
But I stretch out my legs. I thought, I'm going to catch something now. I don't mean like it's not clean around here because there's a hand sanitizer out there.
Yeah, there is. We take these things seriously.
We do, almost too seriously. So possibly, or not seriously enough. I don't know.
No, we take them deadly
very seriously.
Tell us about MGMT.
Okay. They're a band and they make music. All I know is they had an album out recently called My Little Dark Age.
Right.
And I reviewed that from my brother's website, which is called Exciting Stuff, I believe. He does lots of different reviews and whatnot and that kind of thing. Yeah. He's also got a thing called Black Box Improv. I'm doing all the shameless plugging now of other people's stuff. I don't have my own stuff to plug. Maybe one day. I don't know.
Well, you've been doing some work with the BBC, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I have. And they do a thing, if they might be listening right now, because they're doing... You've got this thing called BBC Voices. I'm advertising another radio station.
That's all right.
Is that okay?
There's enough space on the airwaves for both of us.
I think so. BBC Radio Norfolk. My radio voice there. And they have a thing called BBC Voices, which is, I think, just for music and performing and writing. And they have a thing called the new comedy show, I think that's what it's called. And because of all the different people I've met just moving into the area, like Peter Butler, who does the comedy Crypt, I believe.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes,
I met him, and he said you go to talk to these guys, and I showed up, and I've been doing voices for their sketches, and occasionally submitting my own material, which might be a bit too lengthy, so I've got to whittle it down to being appropriate for their little show, because they have a half-an-hour show, which I believe the next one is on next weekend on the 31st on BBC Radio Norfolk. So I'm doing it again. So I can do an alternative version. I can do Future Radio.
107.8 FM.
I should learn that. 106.7. No,
107.8 FM.
That's going too quickly. I have to write it down.
Anyway,
1.7.
Something I forgot to say, and I'll do it now, is if anyone wants to get in touch with us...
Oh, how's that then?
There's a number of ways you can do that.
Ooh.
You can text Future, then your message to 600... This is me doing my... You can text Future, then your message to 60066. You can email studio@futureradio.co.uk. You can use the instant messenger on the website. That's www.futureradio.co.uk. Or you can tweet us, and our Twitter handle is @FutureRadio. So if you want, if there's any requests you want, or you just want to shoot the breeze, then please get in touch. Now, have you read? I'm just going to change the subject randomly entirely. Have you read Viv Albertine's biography, Close, Music, Boys?
I'm waiting for the movie to come out.
Yeah, which is unfortunately the most rubbishly titled book in the history of rock and roll.
It's very long.
But it's a brilliant book. It's possibly the best, definitely the best music biography I've ever read. Well, I don't know, Just Kids by Patti Smith, maybe, but it's an amazing book. And I'm just saying this because she's releasing a second memoir next month.
Is it a shorter title this time?
Yes, it's called To Throw Away Unopened.
That's still quite long. Should just call it My Book.
Yeah, My Bookie Wookie.
Yeah, oh dear, yes.
Yeah, no, somebody's been done that. Anyway, Close Music Boys was a brilliant book. Her next book is coming out in a couple of weeks, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And in honour of that, I'm going to play a little bit of Viv Albertine. Viv Albertine, do you know who Viv Albertine is?
I'm about to find out.
You're right, she was in the Slits.
Oh, painful.
She was one of the members of the Slits.
I know what you're talking about now, because I was reading Total Film, and there's a film. There's a documentary about the Slits coming out. There you go.
There we go. Anyway, this is from Viv Albertine's solo album, Vermilion Border, and this is called Confessions of a MILF. There you go, Viv.
Ooh.
Yes, that was Viv Albertine from her debut album from about 3 or 4 years ago, Vermilion Border, and that was Confessions of a MILF. Now, discussion of that title track brought us onto other bands.
Oh, indeed. We were talking about... we were talking. Well, can we talk about the stuff we were talking about off air? I think
we can talk about the bands.
Okay, yeah. I was talking about Babes in Toyland.
Yes.
Who are... it also isn't it a film that was remade with Keanu Reeves and possibly Drew Barrymore? I don't know. Maybe just in my imagination, but I think they remade that movie in the 90s. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about... I think it was called Riot Girl, but they spelled it with lots of R's and L's.
Well, that's... I mean, that was the name of the movement that kind of originated in the American...
And you had L7 and Babes in Toyland and... I want to say salad because it's a fun word to say, but I don't think maybe they were part of it. Maybe they were British or English. I don't know.
It's interesting. I never really kind of had L7 down as a Riot Girl. Riot Girl for me kind of means not that this is just people like Bikini Kill and Bratmobile. Oh, that's somebody else we're going to have to play. Is Bikini Kill. But so we were talking about Babes in Toyland, we were talking about L7. So I think after having talked about Babes in Toyland and talking about L7, I think we ought to play some.
Do you have any?
You know what? I happen to have some on the system.
Oh, right, let's have a look here. Let's hope.
This is L7 and Pretend We're Dead. And that was followed by Babes in Toyland with Bruise Violet. What is Bruise Violet? It just sounds expressionist. Oh, God, no, it doesn't sound anything of the sort.
Sounds painful.
Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does. Right, now, we're going to come on to the next track you've chosen. And,
hello, I'm Elliott Stewart.
Sorry, yeah, by the way.
Hello, fan.
For people... Well, were you waving at somebody through the window?
Yes, my invisible fan club. There it is.
Right.
Why I've only got one member in my invisible fan club when I could have dozens of people out there, but I'm just being realistic in my imagination.
Yeah. It's the meeting. It's a meeting in a phone box.
Oh, no, hang on. It's somebody else's invisible fan club. I'm embarrassed now.
For those of you just tuning into the show who don't know what's going on, I'm Russell Turner. This is Sound of the Suburbs on Future Radio 107.8 FM. In the studio, I have my special guest, Elliott Stewart, who's an old friend of mine who returned to Norwich a few months ago.
I did, and I'm still here.
He's still here. He hasn't run away.
I bought a house. There's nothing I can do. I'm stuck here now.
You've got a house.
Yes. Yeah. It's what people do. Modern thing. They live. The ceiling, the walls, the doors. It's what people do. I know it's
square.
Very
square.
Literally square.
Yeah, indeed.
Not like an L7.
No, that's an L7.
Don't go there.
Or whatever L7 means. Yeah, square. That's what it means. So anyway, Elliott's brought in some tracks to play, and this is going to be the first and last time I suspect I ever play this band.
Oh dear.
So it's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
This is why. It's nice.
I feel deeply ashamed.
Don't feel ashamed at all.
Well, you haven't told them what it is yet.
You tell them.
Oh, do I? I don't want to. No. Yes.
It's Genesis.
Yes, but it's good Genesis. There used to be a chap. I'll just very, very quick story. There used to be a chap in where I used to live in Hampton. I can say that now. And he was a little bit poor chap. He had mind problems, and he used to stand around in the street shouting all the time. Probably fit in with Norwich perfectly well. But he used to shout out all the bands that he liked. So he'd be like going, "Oh yeah, Rod Stewart, it's brilliant. Oh, I love Genesis." And I was thinking, I want to go up to him and go, "Which era?" Well, obviously Peter Gabriel. I'm not mad, but no. And obviously I'd be deeply offended people who have mental problems. And oh dear, I'm digging myself into a hole here.
Right. Stop digging.
Yes, but he was this thing where I think we can defend. Can we defend some Genesis?
You feel free to defend Genesis.
Okay.
This is your platform.
Indeed, yes. Oh, it's tomatoes being fed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is from, I'm going to get this right, it's Nursery Crime, and I think it possibly might be the penultimate album that had Peter Gabriel in it.
Yeah.
It's the shorter of the tracks. It's called Harold the Barrel. And I just remember buying this album for $1.99 in a Woolworths bargain bin back in 91 or something like that. And I really liked the cover, and I put it on, and I really didn't get it at all. I was like, but this is the only track that I could get into at that time. And now I like all the prog rock stuff that goes on forever. I like myself. Yeah. So this is Harold the Barrel by Genesis from 1973, I think, possibly.
And that was Genesis. That is possibly the only time I've ever heard you say that. That was Genesis. Yeah. Well, no. Perhaps from time to time, from now, I'll just slip the words. And that was Genesis.
What?
Ha ha ha. No, that was Genesis, and that was called. What was it called? Sorry.
Harold the Barrel.
Harold the Barrel, and it was from.
It's a story about a chap who might be slightly large who climbs up to the top of a building and is going to jump. For some reason, which I don't think is ever explained. And the police come along, and his mother comes along, and the BBC come along, and everything like that. And they all sort of like are trying to, they're all sort of telling him off. So for me, I see it as an analogy of like society telling off the different.
Yeah,
or it might just be the shortest track on the album that I'm allowed to play. It could be one of those things, somewhere in between.
Take your choices. Your choices. Before that, in fact, while stuff was on, we were talking about suede.
Yes, it's comfortable to wear. It's quite good. I'm wearing suede underpants as we speak. If I move around, it gets a bit static. I don't mean things don't move around. Well, things obviously do move around.
Things stand still.
Pardon? Yes,
indeed.
That's Quicksilver, isn't it? From the X-Men. He runs around so quickly that things stand still. Yes.
Indeed.
But you're meaning the band.
The band.
Yes. That I got mistaken for. Not all of the band at once. Obviously, there's a gestalt entity of Brett Anderson, Bernard Butler, and the other ones.
Yeah.
I can't remember them. But I saw them back in 1995. In fact, I bought the tickets the year before by my new girlfriend at the time. So she bought, it's your birthday, it's November, here's some fantastic suede tickets. But by the time the gig came round, oh dear. We'd sort of slightly at the splitting up point.
Right.
And it was quite funny because we were in the pub and we're about to go to the gig and, a very awkward atmosphere. Yeah. And a friend of mine came up to me and went, hey, and it cheered everything up. And went, hey, Elliot, hi, whatever her name was. Yeah. I do remember, I'm just not going to say it online.
Okay.
Or on air. And, hey, great to see you. Oh, and he looked at her and went, oh, she's still being moody then?
Oh.
That might have been the camel that broke the whatever it was
back.
Yes, all that just completely threw things. But later on, I discovered he got slightly beaten up at the suede gig, so I was kind of like that sort of weird karma. But the following day, when I was doing a drama exercise in Ipswich, and we were being handed out pieces of paper, which emotion are you going to play? I turned a piece of paper around. It said moody. What are the chances?
What are the chances?
It's a true story.
And you also claim you got mistaken for Brett Anderson.
I did about half an hour ago when I finished telling that thing. I did. I was basically wanted to go to that disastrous gig. It was quite a good gig, just not good for me. And I had a very tight black T-shirt on and a velvet jacket and my hair all long to one side like the kids do nowadays, and I was sort of flouncing about like you do, trying to look like Brett Anderson for some reason. And the gig had finished and I put my head round the side of the building to see like loads of fans waiting for the band to come out, and everyone went, oh my goodness, it's him, wow. And I was like, oh no it isn't. So I was either being mistaken for a band or the band, or somebody from the band, because I didn't quite look like Brett Anderson. I looked like a combination, like a love child.
You look like somebody who might be in suede.
Yes, there you go. Like if they'd taken sort of DNA and mixed it up and gone, we've created a monster. It's Elliot from the 90s.
There we go. Yeah. Well, anyway, in honour of that, here's a little bit of suede. Ooh. 2 tracks back to back there. First up, you heard Suede with Animal Nitrate, and that was followed by Elastica with Stutter, fronted by Brett Anderson's ex-girlfriend at the time.
I know. And did she... hello, Elliott Stewart here. Does anyone get hello?
Elliott Stewart there.
Hello. And then Russell over there. Hello.
Oh, cheers. Hello.
That's him. We're all present. We all know we're here. But didn't she also... we shouldn't be talking about people's relationships and everything, but I always think it's interesting with that is where the sound of the band bleeds through, because some of early Suede sounds a little bit like Elastica, and some of Blur sounds a little bit like Elastica, and they're all obviously...
They were all living together.
And they also like, I've got a song, it's about animal something, and someone else, I've got a song about a park and there's a life in it. Oh, I'm not going to do that. And all their sort of songs don't merge into one, but clearly their influences, their derivation of musicalness is sort of like housed in their own interest. If you sit around in a house, you're all going to listen to Patti Smith or whatever and go, I'll rip that off, I'll have a bit of that. But Damon Albarn was there as well, wasn't he? So he was...
Yeah, Damon Albarn was all part of that, yeah.
Simultaneously courting at the same time.
Yes. And you mentioned that you went to Ipswich after you did this suede gig.
Yes, well, I was doing a course, a performing arts course in Argyle Street for about 5 years, or an H&D in performing arts and an ND in performing arts. So if you remember sort of a tall, lanky, annoying chap with big, long hair, that would be me.
That would be you. Now, the reason I mentioned Ipswich is because we played Suede and then Elastica, and I saw Elastica in Ipswich around about the same time, maybe about 1995.
Oh, well, I would have been around about then, yeah.
And I got very, very drunk. Very, 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 very drunk. And I bumped into John Peel on the stairs.
Wow.
And harangued him in what I thought was a pleasant manner. And he put up with it with good grace.
Yes.
I was just telling what stuff he ought to release on Strange Fruit Records. And
he's just nodding along.
And he's nodding and saying, it's not my decision. It's not my record label. Somebody else makes these decisions. And I'm going, but tell him, Tell them.
You don't know me, and I should tell you my opinion right away. You were inventing the internet years beforehand.
It was.
Yes.
No, it was great. It was a lovely moment. Yeah, it was a great gig as well. Anyway, we're going to go on to the third of your tracks you've chosen, and this is shoegazy stuffy.
It is. It links back to Ipswich because, again, connected with, ladies again, or lady singular. There was a girl at the college I was with or at, and she had this kind of weird clown T-shirt on. And I thought, wow, what's that? And she said, ride. And I was like, what, pardon? Like, why are you just saying a verb at me? It's the band. And I, like you do, when you think...
sorry. This isn't right.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
This is wrong anecdote.
Wrong anecdote. Hold that anecdote. Hold that anecdote.
I'm putting it on the shelf.
No, this is Colourbox.
I know very little about this, apart from the fact that it has a sample from the comic strip, and I can't tell you the name of the episode because it's a cow poo. The cow pooers.
Oh, right. Okay,
that one. The professional Mickey take. Yeah. And that just basically, I remember hearing this possibly on the John Peel show, and it's a song to really stick your headphones on for. Yeah. Because it's a stereo ridiculousness. It goes from one ear to the other and back again and back again and back again. It's all over the place. So that's rather good. And yes, because it had... Yes, I'll let you play it.
Yeah, because
good idea.
Regular listeners will know that I played. There's a couple of Colourbox tracks I play quite regularly, about 3 or 4 of them, in fact. But this one is called. What's it called? It's called Edit the Dragon. Lots of good music, and a guest in the studio.
Who's that then?
That's you.
Oh, me. Oh,
That's
hello.
You. Hello.
Yes.
I'd like to introduce listeners to Elliott Stewart.
Hello, I'm Elliott Stewart, and I'll be your Elliott Stewart for the rest of this afternoon. I'll be providing you with all different Elliott Stewart noises. That wasn't me, by the way. That was that was me providing.
Hold on, I'm just about to cough.
Accompanying myself. That's good. That was me imitating Russell's cough. Unless you just turn the microphone down.
I turned the microphone down.
Well, he just coughed then. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that on air.
No, you might be able to hear me because the other mic might have picked it up. Because there's more than one mic on the go in
there
this.
is. So you heard a distant cough because I was leaning over to say things you mustn't do, and I can't. Don't swear and don't be naughty and that sort of thing. And it doesn't say you can cough all you like.
Oh, well, I can cough all I like.
Yeah, it's not very entertaining, but it could be quite.
Another thing I sometimes do is.
What's that?
Whack my glasses against the microphone, not deliberately.
I couldn't work out what you would do. You look like a goat. Goats when they sort of headbutt something, they don't quite know why they're doing it. That's
Sometimes people hear me. And if you wonder what that is, that's me leaning forward slightly too far and my glasses hitting my microphone.
Yes,
rock and roll.
Yes, that's what it's all about. If your contact lenses make contact with the stuff, then you're too close.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm too close because like here is reasonable. Am I a bit too close there?
No, that's fine.
Okay,
that's a good level.
I haven't got any headphones on. I can't tell.
I know it's the power I have of you by having headphones and you don't.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm sounding like now.
I'm putting you through an effect. This is a vocoder.
I don't normally sound like this. What have you done? Yeah. So
anyway, Elliott's joining me in the studio today to talk stuff.
Talk continuously.
Yes. And also to play some tracks that he's chosen. We had 3 tracks in the first hour. We'll get another 3 or 4 in the second hour. Now, this next one is Ride. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it's a verb.
Yes,
and
indeed
not the Verve. It's a different 90s band. And yeah, I got into this band by, if you listened to me earlier, I did do a bit of that anecdote. So it was basically...
Carry on with the anecdote because people might have missed it.
Yes, so basically, yes, I was doing performing arts at Ipswich for about 5 years, and there was a girl there, as there always is, and she was wearing this T-shirt which had a sort of a clown motif on it, and I was like, this is where I got... By the way, this is how far I got into the anecdote before, when he said, no, wait a minute, it's a different song. So I'm really worried to continue now.
No, you can carry on.
Yes. So she had this brilliant clown T-shirt on, and I said, who's that? And she said, Ride, and I went... What? Oh, yes, right. So as you do, you nip out and you think, to attract this young lady, which sounds an awful thing to do, patriarchy going, I shall fool this young lady to like me, not particularly with that voice, by going off...
Because that's not going to work.
No, not a very seductive voice. And so I bought the album and on cassette. Yeah. And I listened to it, and it was really, really good. Now, I don't know what happened to her. I know what her name is, but I'm not going to say.
No, fair enough.
She had these really big blue eyes, which later on I discovered why, which I told you off air.
It was to do with chemical assistance.
Oh, there you go. Yes, enormous. I'm not suggesting, if you want to get big eyes, don't go and take chemicals to make your eyes big. My eyes, are my eyes quite big? I'm staring at you now.
Yeah, well, when you do that, though.
Yeah, it doesn't help, does it? No. So, yeah, I listened to this, and I picked a random track at random, and it turned out to be I do believe it has a with now quote at the beginning.
Well, we've seen
but not a naughty one.
This is Cool Your Boots. Are you all right in that seat?
No, I'm just sort of. I don't have piles anymore. But no, sorry, I had a hernia. You didn't even ask me about my medical things.
Sorry, just before you go on to that was Ride, by the way.
Yes.
And what was it called? Cool your boots.
Cool my boots. My boots are quite cool because I think I got a problem with my... I need to get some compression hosiery. I've got these really long legs now.
Right.
And I don't think the blood is getting to the bottom of my feet. I do get cold feet.
Oh, that's possible.
And metaphorically cold feet as well. So
both medically and metaphorically.
Yes, it's both things. You don't want to suffer from both metaphorical and literal problems.
Right.
One at a time,
Yeah,
surely, but
of course,
apparently not. So I do get... I'm moving my legs around now, ladies and gentlemen.
And you've got to buy new shoes as well.
I have got to go and buy new shoes, possibly at the range where I work now, or advertising where I work. It's ridiculous. Yeah, other places have employed me in the past. I worked at Harrods for a while, and I worked at Madame Tussauds, scaring people.
Ah, excellent.
I was an exhibit. I used to leap out and go, "I'm Jack the Ripper, I'm going to scare you," and that sort of thing. So
Did you pride them that you were going to scare them?
Oh, well, they used to have a guy. This is great. At the beginning of the tourist attraction, there was a guy at the front saying, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome." What accent that is? You go, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to the Madame Tussauds scary experience. Do not touch them. Do not talk to them. They won't talk or scare you, but they might do. Bye bye." And it's meant to be more like, seriously, don't touch the actors, they won't touch you. But they'd always do it in a little jokey manner.
Yeah.
So I'd have people coming up to me and prodding me to see whether I was made out of whatever they make mannequins out of.
Wax?
Exactly, yeah. So I just said, but they had this makeup on my face to make me look like I was made out of wax. So I just sit there very, very still. If you've got a job that's really, really boring, I don't know. I'm not going to say retail because I'm back in there again. But other jobs that are boring are available. But my job was to sort of stare at a light, and then tourists would walk past, and suddenly I leap into action. Or as a Victorian policeman, I'd have this sort of truncheon, which for some reason I'm miming to Russell. If someone comes in, they might have a complete misunderstanding of what I'm trying to show with my hands. And the idea was that I would slam this big wooden truncheon down on this metal desk, and it'd be very dramatic. But it was great for about 9 times out of 10. But one time it broke and flew off and hit me in the head.
Oh dear.
But I stood still being a mannequin, probably an embarrassed mannequin. So my job was to do that for about 10 months, leaping out and scare people. And, they had the problem was people would come up to you and hit you and thump you, even after you'd scared them and run away as an actor. So you go, "I'm Jack the Ripper," and run off.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of, I get a glass of water. "Hello, excuse me. Oh, you think that's funny, mate?" And smacked me across the face. And that happened several times, so much so that I grabbed the guy by the neck and dragged him along and probably said a lot of fruity language along the lines of, "Get this person out of here." And he came round again. So we had this little red button to press.
Yeah.
If that ever happens, press the red button. All the lights will come on because it's all pitch dark. Yeah. All the sound effects will stop and he'll feel very embarrassed. But he didn't. We pressed the red button and he's gone. He's legged it. It was him. So that was my experience of London being an actor. There are other actory things as well.
There are acting things to do in London, but that was one of your actor experiences in London. We were talking about Norwich bands before the hour.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think you'd heard this one, so I'm going to play a couple of tracks by Norwich bands. First up, this is Broken Laptop from Death of Discotheque. That was followed by Sink Your Teeth, Norwich's current finest, and that was Glass. And indeed, Sink Your Teeth are playing a gig, I think, at the Arts Centre on the 31st of May, because their debut album has been released on the 1st of June. So
I should listen out for it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Is it on SoundCloud, or are there bits of music out there I could find?
Just Google it, mate.
I will. That's
Sink your teeth.
What you modern kids do. Sink your teeth.
Yeah, teeth.
I've got teeth. I feel like I've got new teeth. I went to go and have some dentist stuff done at the beginning of the year, and they say we're just going to do a bit of fillings here, a bit of fillings there, and they did the massive clean thing, and they must have removed like 17 years worth of gunk and something like that. And one, my wife said I smell much nicer, and two, also it's like new teeth. I was really different. Yeah. So often that's what you sound like after the dentist.
So well done.
Thank you. I went to the dentist. I didn't even get I've been brave badge or anything.
No, well, I'm glad your wife approved as well. That's always good.
Yeah, it's all good. But I do often wonder about dentists. Is that obviously when they go to a dentist interview, like, do you have dentist skills? Yeah. Are you very clean? And I say, do you look all right from below? Because obviously you don't want to, as in you're spending most of your working day looming over and you just think, oh my goodness, you look fine standing up, but when you lean over people, oh my God, it's like Dracula. So I think they must have some sort of, when you walk into an interview to be a dentist, like the interviewee or is on the floor. Okay, what are you doing? Okay, yeah, you look fine, thank you. I'm assuming that's how it all works, really, being dentists, that you just mustn't look like some sort of weird surrealist painting from down below. So that's my little... what's he doing? Russell's pressing buttons and I'm going on about dentists. This is what the kids are into. This is what it's all about.
This is what live radio is about.
It's like allowing me to go off about dentists.
This is when it's only the two of you. It's not like I have a production staff or anything, you know. I have to make my own tea. I have to roll my own fags. I have to do everything.
You've got imaginary groupies. That's what it is.
I've got imaginary groupies.
Yes.
I always have imaginary groupies.
Yes.
My entire working career. Such as it is. Anyway, so cool. Anyway, we're going to play your next track.
It has nothing to do with dentists at all.
No, well, I don't know. I don't even know what the content of the track is.
Oh, well, this
assured me that there's no swearing.
I really hope that there isn't. They say the word bum a lot, but don't worry, because it's housed in the word Bumble Bee. It's LS Bumble Bee by Pete and Dud. Basically, it's a single they released after the famous song by them, which I completely... what's the song they used to do at the end of their song? Not only, but also they used to do the goodbye song.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they released that, and they thought, well, let's release everything that we ever did. So there was a parody of sort of the Pet Sounds Beach Boys kind of vibe thing that they did once on one of their shows, which had John Lennon in it as a sort of a doorman to an exclusive lavatorial club or something, making it sound worse. And they released a single. So basically, this is Pete and Dud doing, I'm not going to say it's very Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. It's more like sort of a Pet Sounds Brian Wilson pastiche called LS Bumble Bee.
And so the LS, we can guess what that stands for. Indeed we can. So this is it, Pete and Dud, LS Bumble Bee. Ooh, that is better, isn't it? That was Pete and Dud with LS Bumble Bee, and I can see why the BBC in about 1960 odd wouldn't.
They had issues.
Yeah, yes. LS Bumble Bee.
How many times do you say the word bottom in this song? About sort of 20 times. No, I didn't do I should have my Pete and Dud voice. Yeah. Say, how many times do we actually say the word derriere? I think perhaps we say it lots of times, Dad. Lots of times we say it lots of times, and so on and so on.
And so on and so forth.
Yes, that's how he talks. He's got his sexy voice on. So, but the ladies did find, that was that whole thing with Pete and Dud, was that as much as Dudley was sort of strapped to a piano being very charming and everything, and Peter Cook was occasionally very, very funny, but also not very nice sometimes, he was considered the more charming of the two of them.
Right.
He was much more of a charming, tall actor chap. And it was very surprising later on that Dudley Moore ended up being sort of Cuddly Dudley and being a big, huge Hollywood star. And, you know, people always talk about Peter Cook being rather bitter about that. But I think he was much more interested in doing more experimental things, not just Derek and Clive and being naughty, but you can see that, you know, Dudley suddenly got offered, would you like to be a lead in lots of Hollywood stars using your charm and whatnot? But we don't know quite what to do with Peter Cook. We'll put him in Supergirl.
Yes.
And that Michael Rimmer film, which is quite cool.
Which one's that?
It's the rise and fall of something. It's a political one, and I think it's quite good. It's almost like taking the mickey out of the Tony Blair-esque, other 90s politicians are available, that sort of cheesy, sort of grinning celebrity politician, which was very much, in the 90s, like going off on a tangent about that. And it was, I think it's called The Rise and Fall of Michael Rimmer. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But it's I got that on DVD a few years ago, and it's like, I can see that Peter Cook's acting in it is limited, but it works well for the character. Like the Terminator, his acting only needs to be on one layer or level.
Well, he is Arnie. That's all he needs to be for you, isn't it?
But I'm very fond, I was saying this off air, very fond of Bedazzled, and if anyone ever wants to put on a stage version of Bedazzled with me, contact me, because I think it has the potential to be all singing, all dancing musical, because the movie is amazing. I really like it. Got Eleanor Bron in it, and Barry Humphries is in it as well, and who's that very famous sexy 60s actress who's in James Bond, who's in it as well? Forgotten her name.
I don't know, Ursula Andress.
That's it. She's in it, I believe. I could tell you a naughty story about that, but off air, and what they're going to originally call the film. And so anybody wants to do a live version, a live theatrical version that's a musical of Bedazzled, talk to me, because I'd love to do that. And I think it wouldn't just have me doing my Pete and Dud all the way through it. I still think that it's got so many. If you've seen the movie years ago,
many years ago.
It's got a sort of pathos, and I know they remade it, and it wasn't quite as good. I just think, but a bit of musical, some sort of rock opera Faust is what we need nowadays in a comedy fashion. So
you need to find out who's got the rights. We've been having this discussion.
Look into that.
Look into the rights.
So if you're tuning in right now and you have the rights to Bedazzled, give them to me. I'll have them
gratis.
Yes.
You'll keep good care of them. Right, now I'm going to do one of my what's the word? Guilty secrets. No, guilty
Not Genesis,
pleasures.
is it?
No, it's not Genesis.
Okay.
One of my guilty pleasures is Mr. Blue Sky by ELO.
Oh, it's nice.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, but
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Yeah, not Volume 2. I've seen Volume 1.
It starts with that song.
All right. Well, this isn't actually the ELO version. This is the Delgado's version. So here they are with Mr. Blue Sky. Whoops, that finished rather suddenly. That was the Delgados with their cover of the ELO's Mr. Blue Sky. You're listening to Future Radio, 107.8 FM. I'm Russell Turner. I'm here for only another 20 minutes. In the studio with me, I have Elliott Stewart.
Hello there.
And we've been talking and stuff.
Yes, 20 minutes is just enough time for a chicken quick.
It is
an
just
advert for things worse than Findus crispy pancakes. Other strange pancakes that you could put under the grill are possibly not available because that's a unique item that you just don't need to eat or think about.
You really don't. Really don't. No, we've been playing some tracks that Elliot has kindly brought along with stuff that I've supplied as well. It's been a match.
Your stuff's been all right.
Yeah, I know. So
okay.
your stuff's been okay as
That's
well.
been terrible. Genesis. Sorry.
Yeah, you missed me playing Genesis on Sound of the Suburbs. That was a unique event, which is unlikely to be repeated. But never say never, as they say. Oh, actually, I've just thought, we were talking about PJ Harvey. And I said she came from Devon. I think she actually came from Dorset.
Oh, in Dorset, I thoroughly recommend it. I'm just like, she's... I always thought she was American. When she first showed up in for me, 1992, the Sheila gig thing.
Yeah.
And I remember buying that on 12-inch for 99p, and then about 10 years later selling it for 17 quid. So, oh dear, so I've turned into a capitalist, but I made money out of a thing. But it had a really cool cover on it, it had a weird warped picture of a young lady. And but I was convinced that she was just this cool American lady, like Patti Smith.
Yeah.
She's American, isn't she? She's not from,
Smith is
she's not going to turn out to come from
from Bridport.
Yeah. You've just shocked me on live on air to tell me that PJ Harvey is not American. She's from Devon.
Yeah,
in Dorset.
No, Dorset. In fact, I said Bridport. She was born in Bridport.
Okay, there you go.
So, in fact, Patti Smith comes from Bridport as well. We just started a rumour. No, actually, Patti Smith has got ancestors who come from Hingham. Or East Harling, or somewhere in Norfolk, anyway.
I've only just come back. All these places are like mythical.
Villages in Norfolk.
You might as well just say Narnia. I'm not really up on...
Patti Smith's ancestors come from Narnia.
Okay.
That's another rumour we can
She's related to Aslan.
Yes. I'm going to see Patti Smith in a couple of months' time.
I think you could say you're going to see Aslan in a couple of months' time.
Well, I am.
Is she still around? I didn't know.
Yes, she's still around.
I've always been up there. She's still around.
No, and there's all points east at Victoria Park in Hackney. On June the 2nd, it's... Nick Cave's headlining, but Patti Smith's playing.
And he's still about.
They're both still about.
Wow, but they're all sort of pale and dark. It's like me.
They're not
all
that,
pale and
not that old. I mean, Patti Smith's about 71.
But she's still out there rocking, doing her punk stuff. Good to hear it. She
is the woman.
Okay.
For me, anyway.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, if you could.
Some sort of weird version of Blind Date. It's a new wave punk version of Blind Date where you open it like, Patti Smith. Well, no, we're going to take you on holiday to the bleakest. You're going to go to like Ig Bergman's small dark beach of indifference and going to have a lovely time counting stones or whatever it is.
Patti Smith's not bleak.
Well, I think punk stuff's got a certain, not nihilistic quality to it, but it's certainly like not very up. It's not chipper and it's good stuff.
It can be chipper. I think you're categorising an entire area. We've had our first disagreement of that.
No, we haven't. Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
Wow.
Anyway, we were talking about PJ Harvey, and you brought two Polly Jean Harvey tracks back to back. Well, two PJ Harvey tracks back to back. The first one that Elliot chose, which was Sheila Na Gig, and that was followed by one that I chose, which was 50-Foot Queenie. So, moving on.
Yes, hello.
Hello, yes, moving on.
He was looking at me because we talked about something off air we can't talk about now. You just said we were talking about 50-Foot Queenie, and I had the T-shirt, and I can't tell you the story about that.
Okay, fair enough.
He that little look, you can't tell he did that look on air. And he's like, don't talk. I'm not going to. So I'm not doing it now.
Okay, that's fair enough. But we'll move on rapidly.
Please do.
To Toya.
To Toya, who is possibly the opposite of PJ Harvey.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, because I still think Toya's quite cool. And I know that's a silly thing to say. I don't mean in an ironic sense. I think I Want to Be Free. I like that one a lot. And she's just like... And also she's in Quadrophenia, which is a great movie.
Yeah.
We were trying to name movies that she's in.
We're trying to name movies. In fact, you keep talking. I'm going to...
Okay, well, the thing about Toya is she's got red hair. And all the other hair on her body possibly is that... I don't know, that colour on her armpits. I haven't checked. Whether she's freckly or not, I don't know. She did also present Sex Call Live Live or Sex Live Talk on Anglia Television. I remember that. And also she appears in, there was a kids show that she was in, and she played like a mystic aunt who had magical powers. And I'm not stalking her. I just ended up watching a lot. She's in this and she's in that. And if she's about, if she comes to Norwich area, hello, that'd be really cool. And I remember now, I wrote, when I went to school back in the 80s, I wrote a sci-fi book called Mr. Mystery, about this guy who ends up with this space plague and everyone wants to capture him and get the plague and turn it into a virus to rule the universe. Though it is quite funny. And there was a baddie in it called Zyme's wife, and I wanted Toyah to play that. And also I wanted her to sing Mr. Mystery, oh, Mr. Mystery, in her own inevitable style, even though she didn't write that song.
Inevitable.
What did I say?
Inevitable.
I like inevitable style.
Yeah, it's quite good, yeah.
Yes. But also her husband, possibly still, is the guy who does the amazing guitar work on Heroes by David Bowie. I can't think what his name is, but she does. And also, you're listening to the Toyah Facts Hour, an hour of facts about Toyah Willcox.
You could go on to Google and check it out. That's Robert Fripp of King
There you
Crimson.
go. Yeah, I think she was partnered with him for a time, or probably still is. I don't know. I was going to tell you a Toyah fact, and I've forgotten it.
Doesn't matter. I've just checked her filmography.
Yes.
And she was in Jubilee.
Oh, there you go.
She played Mad in Jubilee.
That's right,
and she was also in a 1979 version of The Tempest, which I think I remember as Miranda.
And she's also in
I do definitely remember
a version
Jubilee.
of Quatermass.
Yes, she is. She's in the television version.
Yes.
Television
the dark-edged version.
Yeah, the Quatermass conclusion.
Yeah, it's quite serious.
Anyway, that's enough facts about Toyah. Let's play some Toyah. What have we got?
I think we've got, and it sounds like a medical complaint, I've got Thunder in the Mountains.
And that was Thunder in the Mountains by Toyah, and that was Elliott's final selection. And that, unfortunately, brings us to the end of the show. So, well, thank you very much for joining me.
That was great. Hopefully I can come here again and come along and play some more incredibly music.
Some
little cough.
Eclectic tunes.
Indeed, that's a good word for it, I think. Yeah, so it was so much great fun to see you again, and maybe we'll go for a drink later. Everybody who's listening today, go and come and have a drink with me, but not right now, because I've got to get home and buy some shoes.
And I've got to do stuff.
Yeah, very rock and roll things in the afternoon.
We've all got rock and roll. Well, anyway, as I said, that does bring us to the end of the show. Thank you, Elliot, for joining me.
Cheers.
And thank you to everyone for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'm going to play it with some Johnny Cash. This is The Man Comes Around.